Here's something a little uncomfortable to admit. Most of the gratitude we've practiced in our adult lives isn't really gratitude. It's relief. Quiet, socially acceptable relief that someone else's life looks harder than ours. We scroll past a news story. We hear about a friend's bad week. We notice a stranger struggling. And something inside us exhales and says, "At least that's not me." And we call that being thankful. This is what we're going to sit with today. Because there's a completely different kind of thankfulness underneath the one we've been practicing. And it changes something. The idea we're exploring is this: real gratitude has nothing to do with comparison. It isn't relief that you're doing better than someone else. And it isn't a consolation prize for the fact that you're not suffering as much as you could be. It solves a very specific problem, one most of us don't even realize we have: the exhausting, low-grade resentment we carry from constantly measuring our lives against everyone else's and somehow still never feeling like we have enough. What it offers instead is a different starting point entirely, a kind of thankfulness that includes everyone, because it's built on connection instead of contrast. Stay with me on this, because it's more practical than it sounds. Imagine, for a moment, that you've been keeping score on a whiteboard in your head. You didn't put it there on purpose. It was installed early, probably before you can remember, and every day, all day, it's running quietly in the background. Someone else gets a promotion, the chalk moves against you. A friend posts a photo from a vacation you can't afford, chalk moves. A colleague seems to have their marriage figured out, their kids figured out, their morning routine figured out, chalk, chalk, chalk. And we've been taught that the way to feel okay about this whiteboard is to glance, occasionally, at the people whose scores are lower than ours. See someone struggling more. Take a breath. Call that gratitude. Move on. But notice what just happened. The whiteboard is still there. You didn't put it away. You just found a comforting number on it for a moment, which means the next time someone seems to be doing better than you, the chalk is going to move again, and you're going to need another person doing worse than you to feel okay. That's not peace. That's a very tiring cycle disguised as gratitude. Let me put this in a specific moment, because I think we all know this one. It's Tuesday afternoon. You're in a meeting. A colleague is being praised for a piece of work you quietly contributed to, maybe more than quietly, maybe substantially, and no one mentions your part. You feel that familiar tightening in the chest. The face stays neutral. The meeting ends. You get in your car. And then the rehearsal starts. What you should have said. What they should have acknowledged. The email you're going to draft and not send. By the time you get home, you're tired in a way that has nothing to do with the actual workday. You sit on the couch, and somewhere underneath all of it, this thought surfaces: I should be grateful for what I have. Which, if we're honest, really means, at least I'm not as badly off as some people I could name. And then, because we've become good at this, we open our phones. We scroll. We see someone's highlight reel, their engagement, their new house, their impossibly photogenic dinner, and the whiteboard lights up again. The comparison machine, running in the background, measuring, falling short, measuring again. until we find something to feel superior about, and we breathe out, and we call that peace. But you know it isn't peace. You can feel it isn't. Peace doesn't require anyone else to be losing. So here's the question that starts to open something. What would it feel like to be grateful for something that couldn't be taken away and couldn't be outscored by anyone? Because everything on the whiteboard can be outscored. Your job, your house, your relationship, your body, your bank account, all of it exists on a scale, and there's always someone above you and someone below you. If your gratitude depends on your position on the scale, it's going to be fragile and it's going to be exhausting, because you have to keep checking. But there's something underneath all of that which isn't on the scale at all. And it's this: you're not actually separate from the people you've been comparing yourself to. The colleague getting credit, the friend on vacation, the stranger you feel sorry for, the person you envy. They're not really on the other side of a scoreboard from you. That was the illusion. That was the whiteboard. When that lands, really lands, not as an idea but as a small quiet recognition, something happens to the resentment. It doesn't have anywhere to go. Resentment needs a scoreboard to feed on. If the coworker who got credit isn't really your rival, if the friend who seems luckier isn't really outpacing you in some cosmic race, then what exactly is there to resent? The chalk has nothing to write on. Here's what this looks like in practice, because this can't just be a nice idea. It has to work on a Tuesday. You're in the meeting. The colleague gets praised. You feel the tightening. Nothing has changed yet. The body still does what it does. But instead of driving home and reaching for the whiteboard, instead of scanning for someone who has it worse so you can feel okay, you let the tightening just be there. And you notice something. This person you're irritated with isn't actually a threat to your well-being. Not really. Their moment of praise doesn't take anything from you. You made that up. The whiteboard made that up. And underneath the irritation, if you look, there's something more honest. Maybe some tiredness. Maybe some longing to be seen. Those are real. Those deserve attention, but they don't require anyone else to lose in order for you to be okay. That night, you open your phone. Same highlight reel. Same photogenic dinner, but this time, instead of measuring, you notice, that person is trying to feel okay too. Same as me. Same tightening in the chest. Probably. At some point in their day. Same rehearsals on the drive home. And the machine, for a moment, just stops. Not because you forced it to. Not because you did some elaborate spiritual technique, but because you stopped feeding it data. You stopped putting people on the scoreboard. What's waiting on the other side of that stopping is something we don't have a great word for in ordinary language. It's not the smug gratitude of comparing up or comparing down. It's more like a quiet relief, like putting down a bag you didn't know you'd been carrying. Because here's what we're actually tired from. We're not tired from our lives. Most of us have lives that are okay. Some parts hard. Some parts good. All of it manageable. What we're tired from is the constant math. the measuring, the subtle scoring of every interaction, every scroll, every conversation, every glance at someone who seems to have more. When gratitude becomes connection instead of contrast, when it becomes the recognition that we're actually in this together, all of us, the ones who look like they're winning and the ones who look like they're losing, the math finally stops. There's nothing to calculate, there's just this moment, these people, this ordinary Tuesday, and a quiet sense that none of us is really the rival of any other. That's the gratitude worth walking around with. Not the kind that needs someone else to be down so you can feel up. The kind that has room for everyone, because it isn't measuring anyone in the first place. Let's take that into the meditation now, and let the body catch up with what the mind has just seen. If this felt grounding, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe. No rush. Just a gentle way to stay connected as we continue. Let's settle in. Find a position where the body can rest for a few minutes without needing to be adjusted. Let the shoulders drop a little further than they already have. Let the jaw soften. Take a breath in. And let it out slowly. One more. In. And out. Notice, without any need to change it, whatever the body is doing right now. Maybe there's a little tension somewhere. Maybe some tiredness, maybe a hum of thoughts still moving through. All of it is welcome. Nothing needs fixing. And now, gently, let's set down the whiteboard, just for these few minutes. No scores. No measuring. No one is ahead of you here. No one is behind you here. There's just this breath, and this breath, and this one. Feel what happens in the body when there's nothing to calculate. Notice if something softens in the chest, in the belly, behind the eyes. You don't have to earn anything right now. You don't have to compare anything right now. You don't have to be better off or worse off than anyone. You get to just be here. Bring to mind, for a moment, someone you've quietly measured yourself against recently. Don't judge yourself for it. Just picture them, and let yourself notice, they're doing the same thing you're doing. Trying to feel okay. Tightening in the chest sometimes. Rehearsing conversations on their own drive home. They're not on the other side of a scoreboard from you. There is no scoreboard. There's just two tired humans trying to find some peace. Breathe in that recognition. Breathe out whatever tightness was holding you separate from them. And now bring to mind someone whose life looks harder than yours. Don't reach for gratitude that you're not them. Just see them. Same breath. Same longing. Same wish to be okay. No one above, no one below. Just this shared moment of being alive. Rest here for a few breaths. Nothing to do. Nothing to prove, nothing to measure. And when you're ready, let the eyes open. Slowly. Let the body come back to the room. Carry this quiet with you, as long as it wants to stay. We're glad you practiced with us today. If it's helpful, a free digital copy of A Course in Miracles is available via the link in the description. You're also welcome to leave a short comment like, "I am grateful. Thank you for spending this time here." Whatever the rest of your day looks like, See if you can walk through it once without reaching for the whiteboard. Just once. Notice what happens, and be gentle with yourself when you forget. Everyone does. All day long. That's part of it too. Take good care.